everyone, welcome to Jack and Cat Adventures. Today we're going to be making blackberry lemon scones. So let's get started. You need to preheat your oven to 400 degrees and get a piece of parchment paper and put it on a baking sheet. You also need to make sure all of your ingredients are really cold. Like freeze your butter ahead of time if you have time to do that, because the colder the stuff is, the more rise you'll get on your scones, okay? So in a bowl, I have 2 cups of flour, a 1/3 cup of sugar, a teaspoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon baking soda, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I whisk that together. Now you're going to need 8 tablespoons, which is 1 stick of really cold butter, preferably frozen, and you're going to grate it into your flour mixture. Alright, once you grated your cold butter in, now I'm going to use my pastry blender, and I'm going to blend this until it's like pea-sized. And the less you put your hands on this, the better. So, like with pie crust and stuff, you can just do it with your fingers. But with scones, you don't want to get anything warm. And my hands are very warm. It would melt the butter really quick. So if you grate it in, now mind you, you don't have to grate it in. You can cut it and then just use the pastry blender. It'll just take a little bit more time. I grated mine because I want to work pretty fast. And I'm just going to make sure all the flour has some butter in it. You'll have little pieces of butter in it, that's great, like little round pieces. You're not going to get it all mixed in, and that's fine. You don't want it all mixed in like that. Just kind of move your bowl around, make sure all the flour has everything in it. Okay. Alright, in a separate bowl you're going to use 1 egg, a 1/2 cup of sour cream, and don't be intimidated by making scones. They're really easy and you can't screw it up. As long as everything's cold, you'll be great. Alright, and then you're going to need 1 tablespoon of grated lemon zest. Now I don't have 1 tablespoon here because I'm not a big lemon zest fan, but just a little bit in it brightens the berries. So I just use 1 lemon, but go ahead and use as much as you want. And then we're going to whisk all that together. Make sure you get it mixed really good, especially that egg. Okay, let me get my spatula. And we're going to put that into our dry ingredients. And we're just going to mix this together. Alright, once you have it mixed pretty well, you're going to dump it out onto your clean surface. Now, it says to add a little bit of flour. I'm not doing that because my flour is not mixed in well. If I see I need a little flour, I'll add it. But the less flour you use, the more tender these are going to be. And you kind of want to work with this quickly because your hands are pretty warm. Alright, let me just set this stuff over here so you can see. Now we're just going to knead this about 3 or 4 times just until it comes together. And it will come together, don't worry. See, it's starting to come together. There we go. Now we'll just do this. Alright, so I made a mistake, but it worked out. The reason you need the flour on the board is because you're going to put your berries in your dough and then knead it in. But I found it easier to do it this way, where you bring your dough together and then you just put open spots and put your berries in. You do want to kind of break some of them so you have like berry flavor going through all, and you need 6 ounces of berries. And all I'm doing is poking my finger in, and like I said, I don't want a lot of flour.
I want it berry flavored, not flour flavored.
Yeah. And if you think 6 ounces is too much, then, you know, pull back. And you can do this with any berries or fruit you want. Okay, let me just make sure there's some in the middle. Okay, now you want to break some and then you want to keep some whole, okay? Now what you're going to do is put this into a ball. Now don't worry, if you make a mistake here and there, just go with it. It'll work, just like this did, and I think this is going to work better because they say to cut the scones before you put them on the pan. I have done that before, and transferring them is really difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all of mine on the pan. So you're going to press this out to an 8-inch circle. And the sides do not have to be perfect or anything like that. Now don't worry, like I said, if it looks a little rustic, that's fine. And if I'm saying it's fine because my OCD would be kicking in big time. So now we're going to cut this into 8 triangles. So what I do is I go across this way first. And then I cut it in half again. And I'm using a very sharp knife. You could also use your pastry scraper to cut. Then I'm going to cut these in half.
Pizza cutter also works really well too.
Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of sugar on top.
Come on, don't be such a tightwad. Share some of that sugar.
All right, and these are going to go in our oven for
a little while.
14 to 16 minutes or until lightly brown. All right, so here's our finished scones. They smell fantastic. Now, I'm going to let them cool on the tray for a while, probably about 20 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to cut them with my knife to make sure that they're cut. But just cut along the same lines you cut before. That pan's hot, be careful. So please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, you do you.